Hello everyone, this is Strong. So before we start, we have a few announcements to make. So from now on, all of our Strong Pods will now have a giveaway somewhere in between. And stay tuned for this coming weeks. We have a lot of special cool guests we are interviewing. And please follow me and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Let's go. Welcome to a new episode of Strong Pod. Hello everyone, today we have a very special guest, a JAMBASSADOR, very well known in this community, very active, a lot of great content, and I'm pretty sure you guys all know her, the great lion, Miss Laura. How are you doing, Laura?
Hello, I'm doing good, thank you.
So Laura, why did you start playing AJ? When did you start playing AJ? And why did you start doing AJ content?
I guess this all started back in December 2017. My little sister, who is actually the real Leora, she just got her first iPad for Christmas, and I was supposed to be searching up kid-friendly games for her to download. I was mostly playing stuff like Dragon City and Rise of Burt back then, and I'd seen lots of ads for Animaljam Play Wild on there. So I figured I'd create her an account and test it out first. 8 years later, I guess I'm still testing. So, I kind of stole her name and her account, and of course now it's got official JAMBASSADOR status and she wants to have it back. I've actually told her that when she can draw so well that no one can tell if it's her or me, then I'll let her take over. Was probably a mistake. That's definitely going to come back to haunt me. Anyway, I never actually intended to do content creation. Back in June 2020, I think I was trading masterpieces one day, and someone asked me if I'd ever entered any AJ art competitions. They did a bit of cheeky filter dodging and directed me to Instagram, so I looked that up and created an account and started following Animaljam, and they had actually just announced a safari art contest. So I posted a couple of my masterpieces as entries. I think one was a lion and the other one was an elephant. And then I started scrolling through all of the other entries to case out the competition, and I got really confused because my elephant had already been entered by somebody else, and I had no idea what to do about it. But it turned out I didn't actually have to do anything, because a bunch of artists from the community who I hadn't even met yet, well, they already knew who I was, because I guess they'd seen me in the art studio, and they all tagged Animaljam and told them that I'd drawn it. So right there in my first week on Instagram, AJHQ DM'd me and asked me for a screenshot of the masterpiece with my username on the frame, and then the next day it was featured in the winner's post. So right out of the gate, this community that I'd literally just discovered just welcomed me with open arms and supported me and had my back. And I guess it really made me want to earn my place here and find a way to thank everyone, and by giving something back. So that would be where my journey into content creation started.
Laura, so you're a JAMBASSADOR, and I'm pretty sure, you've been a JAMBASSADOR now for a few years now. And what are some challenges you would say you had over your time as a JAMBASSADOR?
Yeah, coming up 4 years this month. That's wild. This is actually kind of hard for me to talk about because it means being open about personal flaws, and I guess nobody ever really wants to admit those in public. I would have to say the biggest challenge for me is that, kind of like content creation, I never actually aspired to be a JAMBASSADOR. I never tried to model my content in a certain way to fit with the program. I never actually applied to join at all. So when I got the invitation, I didn't see it coming. I was still a pretty small creator, not very well known. I think I'd just hit 2,000 followers a week or two before the emails went out. And I was completely unprepared for the pressure and expectations that the community had for people in the role. So from day one, a lot of people were very dismissive or angry, like, who even is this person? Why did AGHQ pick someone we haven't heard of? All she does is draw. She's got no personality. There are so many other people who deserved it more. If she didn't apply, she should step down and give someone else a chance. And so I had a lot of self-doubt, but I could also see that all the other JAMBASSADORs were going through the same thing, only it was worse for them because they'd literally dreamed of getting this role for years and they'd worked so hard for it and they were all so excited to be there. And then suddenly their childhood dream just turned into this hate-filled nightmare. And some of them were already talking about stepping down, and it was just so unfair. You know, they were all lovely people who did nothing to deserve that treatment, and I wanted so badly to stand up to these people and tell them to back off, but my confidence was already through the floor, so I just kept my head down and said nothing. And unfortunately, this left me with some unresolved anger issues, and I became very defensive whenever anyone tried to criticize me or the others. So I've kind of ended up in a few situations where I've overreacted to comments that I've interpreted as attacks, when maybe they weren't actually that serious, and nobody understood why I'd seemed so aggressive. So I've got myself this reputation for being a bit nasty and problematic, because they thought the title had gone to my head or something. And I guess my biggest challenge has been recognizing that this is something that I can't just blame on other people and keep doing things the same way. You know, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And what I got is cancelled regularly. So I have needed to work on myself and my attitude and try to be less paranoid and just, you know, generally be a bit of a nicer person.
So Laura, last year, the JAMBassadors hosted a contest or a battle between unicorns and dragons, and I was wondering, how did the JAMBassadors come up with this idea to do that, to find out the winner, using different contests and events with pack runs and so forth? And what are some behind the scenes that you did to make it happen? And are you guys planning to do some more things like that in the future?
Yes, so the new guys from the 2023 wave had been asking for a while about hosting a sort of big collaborative community event so that they could make their mark. And it wasn't really something that AJHQ was in a position to organise for us. I mean, I saw it as a chance for us all to work together and strengthen the relationships between the old and the new waves. So I just started spitballing ideas to see what everyone was up for. You can probably guess our concept was heavily inspired by the original JAMBassador events like Sabretooth versus Direwolves, and the logical progression was Dragons versus Unicorns because, you know, they were the big thing in the game at the time. The name Mythical Jam was actually, it came about because I was just playing around with the Animaljam logo, and I realised that it was a really easy edit to just switch animal for mythical. And I just made this little logo asset, and I shared it to the rest of the team. And everyone just, organically started using it in their posts without even discussing it, which was pretty cool, because I don't think that many people even realise that it's actually not an official logo at all. Anyway, I wasn't actually a part of the community back when the original JAMBassador events were happening, and I never watched them on YouTube, so I didn't exactly know how any of it was done. I just figured that the JAMBassador split into teams and competed for points somehow, and I just assumed that the community got to join in and contribute too. So the whole thing was kind of adapted from this completely false idea I had of what the previous JAMBassadors had done at VidCon. I never questioned that we just needed a system where players would be the ones doing the task to earn the points for their favourite team. The bigger issue was actually that we all knew Dragons would easily win based on a popular vote, so we needed to work in incentives to get people to support Team Unicorn just enough to make it look like a real contest. The team packs, basically, they were just a way to give the underdogs a fighting chance, but it kind of ended up becoming like this golden snitch in the competition, where Team Unicorn realised they actually had a chance to win the entire event just by getting high enough pack run scores. I mean, if we were to do a similar event this year with the Griffins, and maybe there's a new creature being released next summer, I guess we would have to rethink the way the scores are weighted, but I do know that several of the JAMBassadors are definitely up for a Mythical Jam Part 2. I think that the best part, though, was that AJHQ saw what we were doing and how much work we'd put in, and they decided to support us by adding a new mission to the game with custom prizes to commemorate the event, and the JAMBassadors actually got to design the mission badges. So now, whenever we log in and see a dragon or a unicorn badge on someone's name tag, we know that we've left a permanent legacy in the game that will always be there. So I guess the guys really did get to make their mark after all.
That's so cool, you guys made your mark. I love that. And your story is so cool. The way how you started and first stay on the community, so it's cool. Anyways, it's giveaway time, guys. Just follow me, comment your username for a chance to win 1,000 sapphires. So Laura, I'm pretty sure you get this question a lot. What is some advice you'd give to a jammer who wants to be a JAMBassador, and what are some traits of a JAMBassador? And lately there's been a lot of buzz questions about our applications opening this year. And, I'm pretty sure a lot of people said stuff. And so I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on that? If they will open or not?
Well, the official position from AJHQ is that currently there are no plans in place for reopening applications this year. What I would say to people waiting for a chance, though, is that applications aren't based on a fixed timeline or cool-down period between waves. It's actually more about how many JAMBassadors are still actively participating in the programme and supporting AJHQ with hosting the monthly events. So, as of right now, there are over 20 JAMBassadors still signed up to the programme, and typically about 15 will turn up to help host the events every month. So 20 JAMBassadors is, if you will, the sort of optimum number for active participants, because more than that would mean AJHQ are spreading themselves too thin in trying to provide enough support and resources for everyone. But less than 10 is when the community starts to suffer and miss out due to insufficient event hosts. So, if you want an indicator of when applications might be due to reopen, keep an eye on the current JAMBassadors going inactive. In the meantime, I'm sure you all already know the usual tips about being unique and creative and staying true to yourselves, so I'll actually offer you something a little less mainstream. All applicants are silently observed and vetted by the AJHQ moderators. They don't just look at your content page. They look at your historical interactions with the community in your own post comments and on other people's posts, and they review your in-game chat history with other players going back months or even years. So if you've ever significantly broken the rules and not been caught, then applying for JAMBassador might actually bring things to light that could result in your account getting sanctioned. Now, it is true that sometimes details can get missed, and someone might still be invited to the program with secrets that they would rather keep hidden. In my experience, once you are a JAMBassador, there is always someone from your past who will make sure that AJHQ and the community get to hear about it, and they'll present it in the worst possible way. If this happens to be you, my advice is just be honest. The AJHQ community manager is genuinely a wonderfully kind and compassionate person and mentor who really does care about everyone in the program, and they will hear you out without judgment and give you the best advice for your situation. They don't expect us to be perfect, but you will go a long way by showing a willingness to grow and learn and make amends for mistakes.
So lastly, what is your favorite thing about being a JAMBassador? And what is your most favorite moment you had as being a JAMBassador these past years?
This is definitely the hardest question. 4 years is a long time to pick just one moment. I guess the answer is really the same for both questions. It's the connections that I've made with people, the other JAMBassadors, the people at AJHQ, and all the friends I've made in the community. Oh, God, this is going to sound so corny. Not just one event or one person or one moment in time, but the collective experiences of being part of this constantly changing community, seeing the worst and most toxic side of it, but then seeing the huge number of kind, compassionate and decent people who will stand up and defend what's good about it. It's really such an uplifting thing to witness the best in people and know that it is genuine. I think we all need reminding at times that there are good people in this world, and being a JAMBassador has helped me see that many of them are right here among us. I think the best part of being the role for me is making a positive difference for the people who have made a positive change in me.
I couldn't agree more, Laura. Thank you for being on here, and I thank you again for all the information you gave, and especially the JAMBassador information. It's very insightful and very helpful to those who want to be one. And thank you everyone for watching. We have one every week, so see you guys next week. Thank you, Laura.